What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check here with your April 25th NXT review. A lot of cool stuff to go over on this show. We're going to get the house cleaning out of the way, as we always do. Check out the annotation up above. Check out the playlists for previous NXT reviews, as well as 205 Live, Aftermath, the Off the Cuff series, as well as the Q&A. If you want to be part of the Q&A, go back to my last Q&A, put your questions in the comment section of that video. If you want to check out Aftermath, go back 2 videos on this channel. You will see the Aftermath video that myself, Christian, and Guapo did for everything following WrestleMania weekend. Takeover, WrestleMania, Raw and SmackDown after WrestleMania, the Superstar Shakeup, and the Greatest Royal Rumble coming up this Friday. Also, for those of you in the Toronto, Mississauga area, first of all, let's continue sending our thoughts and our prayers out to everybody affected by the bullshit that happened in Toronto a couple of days ago, because that was some psychotic shit. But if you are in the Mississauga area, I hope I will see you at Destiny Icons this Sunday. It's going to be good. It's going to be Pete Dunne versus, who the fuck is he facing? Marty Scurll, and Mustache Mountain taking on Sami Callihan and Josh Alexander, as well as a lot of other things to come. Really, really fun. I will be sitting in the front row because I am that much of a mark. NXT this week. NXT this week had a lot of cool stuff on it. Had one title match we were expecting, one title match we weren't quite expecting, and a little bit of a different repackaging for the women. So let's get into it. We started off with the Undisputed Era, who we haven't seen since their triumphant, dominance, for lack of a better term, of Takeover. It's interesting because they get an undisputed chant. They are over, and Roderick Strong is over, but Roderick Strong doesn't get booed for joining the Undisputed Era. People cheer the Undisputed Era. They cheer Roderick Strong, but it's still, because faces and heels are still a thing, Roderick Strong gets booed for turning heel. They come out. Strong is officially introduced as the tag team champion, which means Bobby Fish's title went from Adam Cole, who never won it, to Roderick Strong, who technically never won it, which is an interesting thing. But everybody's got gold except for Bobby Fish, who's got a knee brace, so he's got metal, and the rest of them have gold. I love it. I wish I could give credit. On Twitter, somebody referred to the NXT North American Championship as the first belt ever. Sorry, the first belt WWE has ever done with a red strap that actually looked good. That's a nice little shot at the Universal Championship, I guess, because reasons. Cole brags about how Undisputed Era have all the gold. NXT wanted to stop it all from happening, but here we are dripping in gold, other than the main title, and there's no women in their group. If you listen to certain podcasters, you will know that Nikki Cross is super important because there's never, ever, ever been a faction in the history of wrestling that has had a woman in it. Stupidity hurts sometimes. It really, really does. Nikki Cross, I love. Nikki Cross, I love the fact that she's staying in NXT, and why I think she's staying in NXT. We're going to get to that a little later on. But they say they're dripping in gold, which they are, except for Bobby Fish, who, like I say, is dripping in metal at the moment because of the situation with his knee, which is sad. Strong comes out finally and mocks the crowd. Why Roddy, why? All my, I've never been one to pat myself on the back, but that's what I have these guys for, and they are still patting him on the back. He says, I finally did something for myself. I could have won the titles with Pete Dunne, but Pete Dunne, we all know Pete Dunne would have eventually turned on me because all he cares about is the UK title, which is a great reason for him not to trust him, but I mean, you're a singles guy, wouldn't you care about the singles title? Roderick Strong and Pete Dunne were a thrown together tag team at the end of the day. It's all good. Pete Dunne, as I say, I'm going to see him on Sunday at Destiny because, for those of you who don't know, or if you're maybe watching me for the first time, Destiny is a fed that runs here in Mississauga, run by Santino Marella, and Pete Dunne, because he's part of the UK guys and he doesn't have a full concrete exclusive contract with WWE, he is able to fight elsewhere. So not only is he the WWE UK champion, but he's also the Destiny World Champion. I've gotten a chance to see him defend against guys like John Morrison, guys like Austin Aries, in a more comical sense, guys like James Ellsworth. It's a really, really cool thing to see a WWE guy outside of the WWE. This is me. I've never really been an indie guy, but it is what it is. The Era have always taken bullets for each other, and that's why I joined them. Everybody thought it was, the cool, noble thing for me to always say Roddy versus the world, but why fight alone? And then Adam Cole Bebe, takes the mic and sends the Undisputed Era away because I can do it by myself and I'm going to be a fighting champion. And then he turns to his buddies and says, by the way, who needs help beating ONEY Lorcan? So he sends him to the back. ONEY Lorcan comes out and we have the very first defense of the new NXT North American Championship, and I am getting used to that belt. All shots at the Universal title aside, I am starting to warm up to the North American title. If nothing else, NXT has always had these belts that have always been based around the NXT logo, and we've always made the joke, be it the old incarnation or the new, that they reminded us of the X Division titles from TNA, because they got the big X in the middle, all of them. The tag titles, the women's title, the men's title. This is the first one that's more than just an NXT logo, and I think that's why it's going to stick out. That's going to make it special. I think if they play it up the right way, it will become an intercontinental title for them, not a US title, even though it's a North American title, but whatever. So, Adam Cole versus ONEY Lorcan. I like ONEY Lorcan, but you know how this is going to go. Collar and elbow tie-up, and Cole works the arm and a gut wrench by Lorcan. They do a great job, as the commentators always do. As I say once again, Nigel McGuinness welcomed back after having his kid. Congratulations to him. Nice to have him back on commentary. Gut wrench by Lorcan on the bandaged ribs of Adam Cole. They drill it. They really drill it home about how he had two I don't want to say devastating. There's a bug because it's summer now. Fuck off. There's a blooper that I'm not going to edit out. They make a point of pointing out that Adam Cole fought not once but twice on the pay-per-view. Where I think they really missed the switch is they should have drilled home that not only did he fight once, he fought twice. He fought in 2 6-person matches, both of which were variations on the no disqualification stipulation, which puts him in even more danger, which means he's even more hurt. But that's just me. Side headlock by Cole and a shoulder block, abdominal stretch by Lorcan, a gut shot and a mudhole stomp by Cole. Bicycle kick and a mounted punch by Cole. Neck vice. My writing sucks, guys. I'm sorry. Neck vice with a post by Cole. Death Valley driver over the knee. They trade some forearms. They trade some finishes. They trade some boots. Kitchen sink by Lorcan. Blockbuster by Lorcan and a running uppercut boot by Cole. Lorcan hangs Cole over the ropes and Cole falls to the outside, selling an injury. One of the guys from the Undisputed Era comes out with a medical technician, and he's drastically and dramatically throwing up the X. It's all good. The referee goes to talk to the medical person, and one of the other people on the other side, it's Roderick Strong. Roderick Strong hits a modified backbreaker. You know, Messiah of the backbreaker has to still be a thing. But he hits a backbreaker on the outside on Lorcan on the edge of the ring apron, which is cool. I mean, NXT represents the rebirth of using the edge of the ring as a weapon in the WWE. Back in the ring, they get something called the last... It's basically a running kick by Adam Cole, but they call it the last shot, which is fine. It is the last shot, because that gets the win for Cole. 4-on-1 beatdown after the match, and Danny Burch comes in to make the save. Or does he? Because that's still 4-on-2. If you want to talk about Bobby Fish being injured, you could call it 3.5-on-2, but those still aren't good odds. Super kick by Cole to Burch ends the segment, and it's all good. We see a very, I don't want to say generic, but it was a super generic video package on the new women's champion Shayna Baszler, because we've seen a lot of packaging on Baszler. We've seen a lot of packaging on her in the Mae Young Classic, appropriately so. We saw a lot of packaging on her when she debuted that was mostly made up of footage from the Mae Young Classic, also very appropriate. We've seen a lot of video packaging on her since she's become champion, but it's enough now. You're getting into Roderick Strong territory where I saw him being repackaged on 205 so he could be part of the tournament. I saw him in NXT. I saw him here. I saw him there. I saw him go for the UK title, the world title, the cruiserweight title. I've seen enough video packages on Roderick Strong. In this case, I've seen enough video packages on Shayna Baszler, but that's just me. We replay the results and the outcomes of the Candice LeRae versus Zelina Vega match from last week. Now, I still say, with Andrade Cien Almas and Zelina Vega being moved up to SmackDown, I still say the Spanish Trish Stratus should have made her in-ring debut on SmackDown. Why would you have your debut match be your last match on NXT? I get it. Maybe she knows Candice LeRae. Maybe they're all friends in real life. Maybe they wanted to have one match together before they moved on. I really don't care. The Stereo Gargano Escapes was cool. That's why, you know, when I did the little thumbnail for the video last week, I was the guy that was super corny. You know, there's no escaping the Garganos. Yeah, I was that guy, and that joke was that lame. But it was good. It was all good. And they're playing up the super happy couple. Everybody loves Gargano, so they're going to embrace Candice LeRae. She's going to be the better version of Brie Bella, is she not? Heavy Machinery took on Jobberelli and Gimmick lost, and nobody cared. Jobberelli bails again, and nobody cared. Heavy Machinery get the win with the compactor, which is awesome, because Jobberelli and Gimmick lost are trash. They've stopped and started and stopped and started and stopped and started this gimmick with these two splitting up, not splitting up, having a little rift between them so many times that even if I cared, I wouldn't care anymore. But Heavy Machinery is out there to call out the War Raiders, talking about they're going to eat all the steaks and they're going to lift all the weights, and they are going to war, and it's going to be fan-fucking-tastic. They never really had a big, you know, boulder hits boulder match with Authors of Pain that I can remember. So if you're going to have a boulder hits boulder match, and I keep doing this every time I say boulder hits boulder because that's what I do, between these guys and War Machine / War Raiders, who I'm still not that familiar with, but I like the little bit that I've seen. It'll be good. It'll be... NXT gets accused way too often of being indie central, being vanilla midget, you know, spot monkey central. This will be the complete opposite of that. This will be, you know, the smash mouth. I'm going to say it one more time. Boulder hits boulder. It's all good. Total side note, speaking of things that are brand fucking new, how about Shinsuke Nakamura's new entrance on NXT? How much is that setting Twitter on fire? It makes me smile a whole bunch. And check out Goofball from New York. He's got some opinions, and he thinks most of you are stupid. Of course he does. Now, we see a video package for the women's division, and it's really cool what they did here. They didn't do another video package on Shayna Baszler. They didn't do a video package on any one other opponent for her. They did a video package highlighting everybody that could be coming for Shayna Baszler, and I like that. They did Nikki Cross, they did Aaliyah, and they did Kairi Sane. Now, let me say, Kairi Sane, super impressive, super over. She won the Mae Young Classic. She's got all that momentum. It's all good. I like her. Aaliyah, Toronto Strong, my hometown girl. Very, very cool. Super underrated. Super underutilized. Love her too. Give this shot to Nikki Cross. If you are keeping her back while Sanity goes forward, making her the next Carmella in that situation, which is a really awkward comparison, you need to give this shot to Nikki Cross. And then coming out of that video package, they go to one more person who could be a contender for Shayna Baszler, and that's Dakota Kai. And I feel bad for Dakota Kai because they had her basically role-playing in the back as somebody shitting themselves who won't talk about the interactions between her and Shayna Baszler. She's super uncomfortable, she's super timid and shy and whatever, and then Baszler comes and punks her out. So if you're going to try and list her as one of the potential opponents for Baszler, you're not quite hitting the mark right there. You're not quite, yeah, show vulnerability, get the people behind you, roddy rah, I get it. Dakota Kai is Bayley done better. But it didn't work in this case. It's kind of like Naomi going out on SmackDown and making the Usos look weak. I'm just saying, putting it out there. And then they do a second video of people that could potentially go after Baszler. And this one was not nearly as effective to me and didn't nearly click with me as much. Because you had Lacey Evans, fucking no. Vanessa Bourne, fucking no. And Candice LeRae, who, yes, but not yet. Give it to Nikki Cross. Oh, yes. TM61 taking on the Street Profits next week. Nobody cares about TM61. They are generic as fuck, but we're also going to get Strong versus Dunn, which is nice. We're also going to get, I forgot to mention it, we're going to get Candice LeRae versus, not Dakota Kai, what the fuck is her name? Bianca Belair, which is fine. Bianca Belair is great in the ring. Get rid of the stupid fucking hair gimmick. Get rid of the EST, STD of NXT, whatever the fuck her like little catchphrase is there. And I like her. She's great. Not fantastic. Don't put the fucking belt on her yet. Yet. Let us get to know her. Let her impress me a bit more. There's been a lot of that on NXT. People I don't really care about. People that I thought might have a shitty gimmick. Remember when Andrade Cien Almas was a goofball who didn't care about wrestling and looked like he just popped out of somebody's anniversary cake, and then he went on to have the matches that he had with Gargano and Aleister Black, etc. Bianca Belair could do that. Get rid of the fucking hair whip gimmick. It's lame. It's going to get played out super fast. The EST, STD of NXT garbage needs to stop because it's going to make Mauro Ranallo have an aneurysm. And then just let her go out and wrestle because she can wrestle. unlike Naomi. Moving on. Gargano versus Black for the NXT Championship. Doesn't happen. Oh yeah, it doesn't happen because Ciampa jumps him on the ramp. They fight on the commentator's table. They try attempting to hit each other's finishers on the commentator's table, but instead Ciampa comes down off the commentator's table and Gargano hits him with a suicide dive off of the announce table. Low blow on the stage by Ciampa. Ciampa lines his head up with the LED board and hits him with a punt, which is nice. And then he hits a running white noise off the stage through a table. Candice LeRae comes out. The medical help comes out. They take him to the back. In the back, who do we see? We see Candice LeRae. We see the medical staff. At one point, we see Aleister Black, who was supposed to be his opponent, sort of stop and look and sort of assess the situation, which is great. But for reasons, the guy there holding his hand and, you know, oh my god, buddy, you're gonna make it, you're gonna make it, is Cassius fucking Ono, who doesn't belong there, and nobody gives a fuck. Go change your jersey and get the fuck off my TV. Moving on. Black goes right to the ring, calls out Ciampa, doesn't get Ciampa, gets Sanity instead. Eric Young on the microphone said, hey, you know, Johnny Gargano wanted to come out here tonight and give these people hope, but instead I've come out here and brought them chaos, and out of chaos comes sanity. And he gets really, really metaphorical. He goes into an almost Bray Wyatt-like ramble, and Aleister cuts him off and holds his belt up in the air. He's like, look, are you coming out for this? Because let's do it. Which I think is fucking wonderful. Impromptu NXT title match. Aleister Black versus Eric Young. Collar and elbow tie-up, and Young works the arm and the shoulder. It's kind of a cool breakdown concept. Usually the shorter guy facing the taller guy would work on the leg. I think it's almost unexpected at that point that he would go for something up higher like the shoulder and the arm, which is kind of cool. Chain wrestling by Black, back elbows by Young, side headlock by Young, and a pinning reversal sequence to follow. Series of elbow drops by Young and a kitchen sink by Black. I will say, with the size difference, the kitchen sink alone looked like it could have knocked friggin' Eric Young's sternum out the back of his spine. Deep arm drag and an armbar by Black, forearms by Young, and a high knee by Black. Wolf distracts on the outside. He gets taken out by Black, like, fuck you, why are you in my match? It's good. Hangman sleeper by Young on the second rope, and then a second rope elbow drop. Spinning neckbreaker by Young, followed by a neck vice. Working on the neck. It's all good. The neck is connected to the shoulder that he was working on earlier. It's fantastic. Back body drop by Young and a boot by Black. High knee by Black, and they trade some punches for a long while. Rolling back elbows and a trip by Black. Boom, 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 trip. It almost looked like a predetermined sequence in a video game, the way he just hit a 1, 2, 3 trip. Shining Wizard by Black was not something I expected. Corner Spear by Young, Octopus Stretch by Black, Death Valley Driver by Young, Black Mass by Black, and Black gets the win. Black hits a Black Mass on all three of them to close the show. It's fucking good. And Mauro Ranallo signs off. It's like, you know, we didn't expect Sanity to come out here tonight, and Sanity can all fade to black. Bothers me, because this is probably the last time we're going to see Sanity on NXT, I would expect, unless they're going to do some other, like, fugaziness just in this series of tapings. But if this is the last time we were going to see Sanity on NXT as we know them, Nikki Cross should have been out there with them. I know they want to solidify that it's only 3 of them going to SmackDown. Everybody has mixed opinions about that, including me. Sanity's going to suck without Nikki Cross, to a certain degree. They're still great. Killian Dane is still a fucking beast. Put a belt on that guy. Eric Young I've been a fan of since TNA. Alexander Wolf is kind of the odd man out. They will be fine. They will be fun to watch on SmackDown. It will suck not seeing Nikki Cross with them, but at the same time, I'm really hoping that Nikki Cross, above all those other people we just mentioned, get a shot at Shayna Baszler, and a legitimate shot, not as part of a 4-way or a triple threat or just a giveaway match on NXT weekly television. Because Asuka versus Nikki Cross in that No Holds Barred match was one of the best things that happened to the NXT women's division. Did it give Nikki Cross a title? No, because at the time, Asuka was undefeated. How's that going for her now? She lost a tag match to the Iconics. Making a lot of SmackDown references tonight. Didn't even intend on doing that. This was a hell of a show. And next week, we're really set up nicely because we got Candice LeRae versus Bianca Belair, which should be good. TM Nobody Gives a Fuck versus the Street Profits, where I'm going to be cheering hard for the Street Profits, which I do anyway, which is great. And we're going to see a rematch of Strong versus Dunn after I watch Pete Dunne take on Marty Scurll and hopefully defend and retain #and still Destiny champion Pete Dunne. Really hope some of you out there in the Toronto area are coming to the show on Sunday, because it's going to be a fucking good time. I've run out of things to ramble about, so I've been Spaz, your YWC reality check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation. Keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I will talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, I am tagging out. Bye.
You're a freak.